Hello, this is a general message to whom it may concern on STCW or a model course design. So you're looking at one here. This is a model that I'm using. Necessarily, never mind the title, but this one happens to be Ship Energy Efficiency Management Plan. You can see here the general layout, right? Color scheme and everything. So the purpose of this presentation then is just to give an overview of progress thus far. I would say maybe 65%, and I'll talk about what's missing. What's missing is actually filling in a lot of the hard engineering data that actually would go into presentation type material. And what I mean by that is we have the model course, we have the competencies and things like that, but there are actually, when you look into the presentation material, there might be some blanks in there that a few workshops might be able to just, maybe in 1 or 2 days or 2 weekends, can do that, because we should already have that material. Also, maybe what I might call is an MOU, or Memorandum of Understanding, with an actual energy efficiency management planning company that they do this online. You can actually go online, have an account, and actually make a plan that's actually usable. So I would like to do something like that in conjunction with the course. There might be some additional costs, but I think it's well worth it, because the actual companies state that at the end of the day they will actually make a plan, a real one that can work in a company. Okay, also I need to do some tweaking on what Moodle calls content or question pages. That's these things here, right? You can see these are content pages or question pages. This is reference material, assignments, and movies. If we actually went in one of these pages here, okay, you see what I'm talking about. Just a minute, as we go in. So what you'll basically have is you'll have a quiz, maybe every other day or something, for formative reasons. Okay, so this is how it would be laid out. If you had the model course in front of you, the one from WMU, you'll see, like in this section 2.1 to 2.5, fuel efficient operations. Okay, under that you have improved voyage planning, weather routing, just-in-time, speed optimization, and optimized shaft power. So the way these pages work is I can either create this like table of contents or create the materials first. Either way, I have to go back and hook them up, as it were. But if you click on these, you'll go to the actual voyage planning. Okay, so if I actually clicked on this thing, you would see, as we go in here, I can actually pick jumps and things like that, content. Okay, clicking on one of these is like clicking on that button you just saw. So if I clicked on that, this is what I'm talking about. The 65% is right. This material on improved voice planning have to be put in. I just put placeholder and a question, how it would work. And generally speaking, the first answer is the correct one. That's how these things are laid out. Okay, so that's what I mean there. Some major hurdles, right, that have already been overcome is actually getting a hosted site. So as you can see, we are actually online at a hosted site. That was a big hurdle. I mean, it's a showstopper without which we wouldn't be able to do anything. Getting the vetted model course and competencies, that's another big hurdle. I mean, but again, you have the outcomes. My main premise I wanted to frame with this model course is that if it's not measurable, it's not achievable. So I wanted to take the outcomes and put it in a format where we can actually be able to see, track, and grade. You know, because again, if it's not measurable, then it's not a goal, right? So basically what I need then is we must discuss, but I have in mind some kind of collaboration, but we have to discuss it. So some more things, so let me show you. The grade book, I think, was the main reason for me actually doing this. You see we have all these outcomes and things, but let me go to the grade book where you can actually see the behind grading scheme and how we can measure these things. Of course we can get reports, but so what we're going to see here is we can see that this course here, underneath it has different categories of my grades. So I have discussion forums which people must participate in, assignments, and if you look over here to the right, overall it's a weighted mean. So discussion forum is a means of grades, and so are the assignments. And then we have quizzes, and then the final assessment. If I actually scroll over here to the right a bit, you can see like that assessment is worth 15%, right? The quiz 10%, okay, and the assignment 50%, because that's actually you're making the plan in here and doing some work, and there's some peer work going on, some social constructive things, and then also the discussion forum, right, where we actually do this learning process. We actually construct learning and do things like that. Now, again, I said before, one of the reasons why I did this was I wanted to actually show you about these outcomes. So, in either assignments, quizzes, or what have you, I can actually link an outcome. These outcomes, again, come from the model course. So, if we were to look at one, right, actually when we click on one, you'll see many. This is actually when the students turn in or submit an assignment. This is the submission process and how that actually works. How are you, sir? Fine. Fine, sir. Okay. The grades. So, go back. Let's take one of these quizzes here. Okay, here's an example of how we can look at an outcome. What was happening there with the assignments was the assignments themselves are linked to outcomes, and there will be a grade number or letter grade assigned to it. But when they turn in the assignment, 80% will be turning in the assignment, 20% will be peer grading, and then there's some grading criteria. That's what you were kind of looking at. So here you can see we have all of the assignments actually here. I'm sorry, the outcomes. So for this particular quiz, I will be looking at these outcomes here. These outcomes. Okay. Apply, and then there's actually a grading scheme for that, but we won't get too much into that. Right? It's a bit. My point is that we should be able to have this kind of granularity when we do our courses. This would be a niche area for us, something that maybe other people cannot do. And if it's not measurable, again, it's not a goal, and we can do that. We can add outcomes. We can add another category. We can even add graded items that may be manual or offline. So all those things that we can do, we can have, again, formative and summative grades. So enough there. We'll go back and let me again show you. Again, when we go into the ship energy efficiency management plan, this area here might actually be built up a little bit more with some intro and some news items. but you can actually see over here we can have presentation materials again, like PDF assignments and things like that. But we can also have up and coming news items. We can see who's online, do messaging and calendars and things like that. If I went in the edit mode, I can actually add more blocks, like mentees or blogs. Okay. So anyway, we are back home. So you've seen it. There's more, but I think that's enough for now. You get the idea. It's doable. It's online. It's I think 65% of the way there. And thus far, though, I was supposed to have some help here at Alum, but everybody's busy. So I basically done this by myself. And so I just want people to know it's still doable. And even though thus far I'm all by myself, I'd like maybe to drum up some interest and let people we can get this thing online actually very quickly. Like I said, I believe with full force we can tie up the loose ends in 2 weekends, maybe 1 weekend if we work well and people actually came prepared to a particular conference. It can get done very quickly. Okay, so there you have it.